he came up to me and he went, ah, like that.
That's exactly how he goes.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are going back to Tarak Nor with the cast of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So without further ado, let's head down to the wormhole and see who we find. Our first guest is an actor whose body of work includes the Reanimator series, The Frighteners, Justice League Unlimited, and the highly undervalued Dr. Mordred. Today he joins us to discuss his numerous Trek roles, including several versions of Weyouns. Please welcome back Jeffrey Combs.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
I am well, Jeffrey. How you been?
Good. Very good.
Yeah, it was great sitting with you at our physical Richmond show, and we got to share the stage there. That was really fun.
I had a great time at that place. I've never been to Richmond before. It was a lovely place. Charming
yes. Town. Great town, great barbecue. If you're
all of that, yeah.
All that.
And my connection to Poe, it's his hometown. So there was that.
Yeah, there certainly was. So everything's good in your corner of the world?
Everything's just fine. We're, dealing with drought conditions out here in California. So pivoting to saving every drop of water you can is, a challenge.
Well, let's hope it all turns out and everything ends up smoothlier.
Thank you. Smoothlier is right. My favorite word.
The word of the day. And next, he is an actor and host of the Seventh Rule Star Trek podcast, whose roles include Invasion and The Hoop Life. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of writer and war correspondent Jake Sisko. Please welcome back Cirroc Lofton.
Hello. Patty, you're looking smoothlier yourself.
Well, thank you, young man. As are you, as always. How you been?
I've been doing good. Right now I'm battling a little bit of exposure to some COVID, so I'm trying to stay isolated and away from people.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah, that's the best way to do it.
How is the podcast coming along?
Podcast is doing very well. We're on our 7th season of Deep Space Nine. We're about 3 episodes in. And we're also reviewing all the new shows, which I'm loving a lot. I like the Strange New Worlds a lot. I think it's going to be a success, as well as the animated series, I think, are really hitting the mark. So having fun reviewing Star Trek, getting up to date with everything, and getting caught up on the stuff we did 30 years ago.
There's a lot of Trek going on right now, more than there ever has been in any given moment. So we are back in a really interesting boon time. And again, you and your team over there are doing a really great job, and I thank you for that. You really have it's nice to seeing the perspective and looking on back and revisiting it, as well as really being a nice votary for all the new Trek.
Thank you, Patty. I appreciate that. And I also want to say that you guys are doing a fantastic job with GalaxyCon. I think this is a very well-run convention. I like the way you guys put the intro together, the way you've really come a long way. And I just want to commend you for taking this blueprint and making it very successful.
Well, thank you very much. And as always, it's always a pleasure to have you here. And next, let's bring her out. She is an actress whose roles include The Cube, The Dead Zone, and Private Eyes. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of the 9th host of the Dax symbiote, Lieutenant and Counselor Ezri Dax. Please welcome back Nicole Boer.
Hi, Patty. Thanks for being back.
Always. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm doing really well. And hello, Cirroc. I think I just saw you the other day.
Yeah, we just talked. Yes. Looking beautiful as usual.
Oh, bless you, hon. It's good to be here, guys.
Oh, goshly glad to have you back. What's new in your world?
I was just up at my cottage again in Canada. It was time to open the cottage, and so that was really fun. And got bit by some bugs, but not too many.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what's going on now.
Oh, well, as always, absolute pleasure. Welcome back. It's so lovely to see you again.
Thank you. Lovely to see you, Patty. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you much. And finally, she's an actress whose roles include Dark Angel, Torchwood, and Wildfire. Today, she joins us to discuss her role as Colonel Kira Nerys. Please welcome back Nana Visitor.
Hey.
Hey.
Here, feeling smoothlier myself. So.
Oh, excellent, excellent. We have great the word of the day. So, Nada,
Started.
Nada, how are you?
I'm really good.
Oh, it's so very, very good. Now, you've announced a project. We haven't had a chance to talk about it. So tell us a little bit what you can about the upcoming A Woman's Trek.
Yeah, it's a book, and we've been filming all the interviews. So a documentary is in the works as well. And it looks at the 50 more years of women in Trek behind the scenes, in front of the cameras, what their lives were like as they were projecting hope in this future for women and women of color. That when I do the interviews of people who have been inspired by Star Trek, it's really, it's more than I ever realized. It's a very touching and meaningful project, personally, for me.
Outstanding. I so look forward to that. And I think looking at maybe 2023 is sort of the guide, or
look, the thing is, if they don't stop putting out new treks where I have to talk to new actors, it's like I got a lot to catch up on. And COVID did hold us back. We just couldn't get on sets naturally. So there are a lot of people that I still need to talk to. I've talked to so many. There's so many more to talk to.
It just keeps growing right now. I mean, such a great idea. And I was, you had me on, it was so great, but it just sounds like it just keeps going. There's just, where do you find the cutoff in the end? Because
I know. I'm so happy to hear from Cirroc that he's liking the shows, because I haven't had a chance to catch up on them. So and I know how you look at things, Cirroc. So that's a big that's a big point of support. That's great.
Yeah, the only thing is that I feel like because there's so many shows coming out all at the same time, almost that they are not getting the chance to shine individually. And so they're kind of stepping on each other's own stage in the world, and I feel
kind of like Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Yeah, exactly. Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Next Generation. So we only had a small gap in which we were kind of all to ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that way.
Yeah, there was that balance. Okay, there's two shows going on,
right,
and then that was fine. But then there's two shows, and then the feature films. So there was.
But sometimes that can be creatively wonderful, because if all the pressure isn't on one of them, they get to find their way and make mistakes and come back and find their footing. So
I think that's one of the secret gifts of Deep Space Nine, is that it was sort of the middle child. They were dealing with movies, they were dealing with Voyager getting launched, and we got to play.
Yeah.
Creative sway, no one was in the kitchen with them.
Yeah, and to the credit of the new guys that are doing these shows, they are making them different. So Discovery is a lot different than Picard, which is a lot different than Strange New Worlds, and so on and so forth. So they are giving variety for the audience. So if you do want a different pace, or if you want something else that's more old school, traditional, you can go to the Strange New Worlds. If you want to relive Picard, you can go do that. So there's a lot of different options now for the audience, which is actually a good thing.
It's a wider menu for possibly rarefied tastes. I have plenty of friends that I go, I really love this show and this show. Yeah, it's okay, whatever. And that's one thing I've always said about fandom. You need to look at it as a buffet. You don't have to pile everything on your plate. Go up there and enjoy what you want, but never criticize what somebody puts on their plate. And conversely, don't go criticize for somebody for what they don't have there on their plate.
Right.
Live and let live. So absolutely. So our team's going to the chat room right now, pulling out the questions for us. How about I just throw this out? I think I may have asked some of you this before, but some of you I haven't. So for each of you, what would you think was the craziest day you experienced on the Deep Space Nine set?
Craziest day.
Yes, by however you would you would consider that.
I'll say that there was one day that we went 22 hours. Once we filmed for 22 hours that I was involved in. So I'd say that was the craziest day.
Wow.
It was Yeah, you do kind of lose your mind after a little while of being up that long.
Yeah, I can't think of a specific, but one of those situations, one of those days where you're in a couple of different studios and you're changing and going and you're maybe picking up. Did we pick up? No, we always got an episode before. Yeah, we did do pickups, right?
We totally did.
Yeah.
I don't know when we got a show. Maybe we did in 8 days.
Right.
But we were filming and then picking up scenes from the show that we didn't finish before. Yeah.
Yeah, plus the ADR work.
Yeah.
I'd say the first day that I was Weyouns, actually, because I had no frame of reference for this role, what it looked like, nothing. This was pre, like, let's look on the internet at images or whatever. And so showing up 3:30 in the morning, what are you doing to me? Okay, hours later, you're ready, knock on the door, let's go to rehearsal. This was
Yeah.
quick decisions on the fly. And then I made the mistake of bringing a coffee cup onto set to kind of wake up. And the first thing Avery did was walk up to me and said, "There are no liquids allowed." And I was like, okay, this is going to go real well today. I have a 4.5 page scene with that guy. Now I'm ready.
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh my God.
There are no liquids.
There are no liquids.
And so
Right, Avery? I'm sorry.
Did you, that's what I was wondering about that. So, you prepare for this role and stuff, and then you get that full makeup on. Did it just change?
Well, you don't prepare. That's sort of the scary thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't.
How can you?
Yeah.
So once it started getting on me, I kind of had to quickly go, okay, decision time,
Yeah.
What do I do? How do I carry myself? How does this guy talk? Fortunately, I sort of, we guys that come off the bench, we're sort of like test pilots, get in that thing, see if it flies. Good luck.
Just like Maverick. You're just like Maverick.
It's just like Maverick from Top Gun.
Get in, see if it works. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's really kind of pressure cooker, but
no, I can see that.
It worked out.
Pressure cooker under all that makeup.
Yeah.
For me, the craziest day, there were several crazy days that happened along the course. I remember when the riots happened in LA after the Rodney King verdict, and there was a lot of tension at the Paramount lot, and everything was kind of, on edge. That was a kind of a crazy day. But I think for me, the real craziest day, because there was so much emotions involved and so many things swirling in my head, was the last day of shoot for what we left behind.
Oh.
It was like you're saying goodbye. It was like close. It was so many.
Bittersweet, man.
It was bittersweet. It was so bittersweet. It was fun.
Now that I think of it, my Deep Space Nine was bookended by pissing off Avery, because that last day
you brought some coffee on the set on the last day.
No.
How about this one?
Champagne.
No, my wife was about ready to go into labor.
Yeah.
And so I asked the first AD, can I keep my phone with me? Because I may have to go. I was only just a guest at Fix, but I had to keep that line of communication open. Avery does this big beautiful monologue.
No, I can't stand it.
Oh God! Right.
I gotta take this. Oh my God! It's from my wife, And Avery's like, "Oh, who did that?" And she's just going, I just thought I'd call to see how everything's going. It's like, no.
It's possible it wasn't a bookend, but a constant stream of Avery being off. It's possible. It's possible, but he forgave. Hey, are we alone here? Did Patty?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hosting our own deal here.
Hey, Cirroc, you have experience with this, so take over.
Well, I was going to ask Jeffrey Combs to slalom. Just
Slalom. There's
Oh, yes.
another
Slalom.
Avery. Best director's note I ever had was from Avery. I'm playing Brunt. He's directing. I had a monologue, and he said, "Cut," and he walked up to me and he went, "Slalom," and walked away. And I went, "F is he talk about?" And then I realized, oh, this is Miles Davis speak for put it all together and just go. You know the course.
Yeah.
It's really pretty deft, pretty beautiful, simple, one word.
I
Slalom.
went the direction. He came up to me and he went, "Ah, like that."
That's exactly how he goes.
Oh,
That's perfect.
I'm teasing
Oh my
it,
God.
and that's
And I got it.
Yeah.
And you understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of not about the verbal; it's about the intent you're approaching, and you go, "Oh, okay, I got what? Maybe it's an actor, musician thing, but we get that, even though it's not articulated."
He's got so much energy. He managed to just bump the energy into you so you get what he means.
Yeah, he's an amazing cat.
And those like sound effects kind of thing.
Yeah.
Those like there's these little sound.
Yeah,
Right. He does that a lot. I was watching when we were at a convention in Atlanta at the Dragon Con like 5-10 years ago. I was there with Avery, and I'm walking around, just trying to kill time. And I found a booth, and the guy was selling DVDs of Avery's show, A Man Called Hawk. So I said, "Oh, you got A Man Called Hawk? I haven't seen that show. I'd love to get the DVDs, like the whole series on, one DVD." I said, "Oh, perfect. I'll take it." So I bought it, and I came walking back to my little booth, and Avery's sitting there. He said, "What's that in your hand?" I said, This is your show, Man Called Hawk. I just bought it." He said, "Where?" Let me go. So I thought he's gonna go over there and get angry with the guy for selling bootleg copies or whatever.
Right.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure that what was gonna happen, but he wanted a copy for himself because he didn't even have it. Because once again, we're talking about an era before Google, before IMDb, before all this stuff.
No
YouTube. So you can't find some of these shows and some of these works that we all
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live.
Oh, man.
Oh, Sisko, what happened?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
No, I can hear you.
No, I can hear you. No, I
Okay.
can't hear us.
I can hear all of you, but I couldn't hear Patty.
Can you hear me now?
Wow. Interesting.
All right.
So just guys, repeat what he says, and we're cool.
Oh,
Maybe you were on mute or something. You remember he said that,
Yeah.
for your echo, he was going to maybe put you on mute at times.
No, but she couldn't hear Patty. We could hear Patty. So
I
That's
can't
weird.
hear Jeffrey either, too, now.
Really?
oh my.
You don't
well,
want
I'll relay everything for you, Nana. If I hear anything, I'll tell you.
Just tell me what's going on.
All right. Paul.
So Patty's going to start asking questions. That's the little update. He's going to give us audience questions, right? I think.
I think we're going to go on that. And of course, the day Cirroc could give us this wonderful thing about what a wonderful, well-oiled machine we have. And, but unfortunately, the Orlando
And he's
Thunderstorm
never missed a field goal kick in his 10-year career. That's
and he missed the goal.
right now.
That's gotta hurt.
No, we're talking about how I was just praising him about how well oiled this GalaxyCon was and smooth it was running, and then now we're running into these issues.
In a thunderstorm, a Florida thunderstorm. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, tell Nana if she wants to bounce back out and bounce back in again. I think that'll probably reset.
You want to try bouncing out again? The knot might reset it.
I am bouncing.
Okay.
Don't go. Don't go. Oh, we got questions.
This is not. Sorry, this has not been as smooth giggly as we normally do.
You're in a Florida thunderstorm. Wow.
Yeah.
We'll
It was just
figure it
one of
out.
those. It was just one of those little, like my lights dimmed for a second, but it was just enough to kill my computer. Okay. All right. Now,
You can hear.
I can
Yes.
hear. It's a
Yes.
miracle.
Well, this is fun.
okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, our guests, I do apologize for that. Our audience, I apologize as well. Have we gone to an audience question yet?
No.
Okay, then let's go ahead and jump on into that. Okay. Our first one's going to come from Kat, and she wants to know, what do you think your DS9 characters could be doing right now, 20 years later? And she says, thank you.
You know what? I hope that this is my hope. I would be still on the station, and Cirroc and I would be running it. That's what I want.
Ooh, sweet.
Yeah.
Ezri's got, she's a captain, obviously, Captain Dax, with her own ship, which people keep telling me is the Aventine. I don't know. But she's definitely a captain, definitely telling people what to do. I love it.
Weyouns is the same, ever loyal to the founders, doing that good work that he's always done, consummate courtier, diplomat, pleasant. Brunt is still accruing profit, no doubt about it.
Weirdly enough, I could see, and again, in the post-Dominion War and everything else, I could see Weyouns suddenly being used by the Federation as a negotiator and a part of the diplomatic corps.
Nice.
Yeah, well, there's a problem
I could see
there.
that.
Yeah.
You know, they're genetically altered to be who they are. It's really not their fault. All the hate that I saw in Kira's eyes was really unfounded because I can't help it.
No, Ezri has one. I've got one. I just love him. So adorable. I've got a Weyoun for sure.
Oh, you have a way you
Oh,
help
I
me.
do. Oh, what? From around?
He'd give you bad news with a smile, wouldn't he? I'm afraid the dilithium crystals are exhausted, Captain. I feel so badly for you.
I can
Yeah.
totally see that.
I'm going to say that Jake gets seduced by the intendant and they run off together to enjoy
Ooh.
life.
I like that. And what do you think? Where is Avery?
I think Avery is just like he's in our hearts, and I would imagine that he would be almost like how the prophets were in the series,
Yeah.
like appearing in this
Yeah.
kind of prophet type
As
thing.
long as it's not like commercials to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I
And
just hope that he would come back. That's all. I just hope Avery would come back.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
in my head canon, Captain Nog is one of the most respected and decorated Starfleet captains in the fleet.
For sure.
Yeah. USS Eisenberg.
Mhm.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kat, wonderful question. Thank you for that one. What do we have next? From Andre. If you could travel the stars with any character from the Star Trek universe or multiverse as it stands now, who would it be and why?
Oh, any character.
Any character.
I traveled the stars with all my favorite characters, and they're right here with us today. I love everybody from the DS9 show. That's my cast. Those are the people I would choose. And I would ride it with them over and over again. We can keep redoing it.
Yeah.
I love the other shows, but I have a special fondness for the memories that we share together.
Of course.
And I
To say, I'm with you.
It's
and after
true.
2 hours, it did feel like we were traveling the stars. I looked out at the stars and go, wait, no, those aren't real. Those are on velvet and they're just traveling. But it felt, it
100%. It felt like we were really there to me. I mean, I just felt like we were really there together doing that. So it's you guys all the way. And then we do travel the world to do conventions. So you guys are like,
Right.
you know, my crew
Right.
for sure.
I would just like to be in a shuttlecraft with Odo again.
There you have it. Andre, fun question. Thank you for that one. Oh, what's next? From Alex. what is everybody's favorite science fiction or television series? And if you don't have anything in the sci-fi direction, you could just, what is your favorite movie or television series of all time?
That's a hard one.
I've never laughed so hard in my life. Galaxy
it's hard when you get
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest is pretty special. A lot of touchstones for all of us there. I mean, it's not accurate because I don't know very many of us that actually do get into makeup to go to the, like Alan Rickman did. It was kind of like, that's not what we do. Although some actors do that, right?
Let me ask you, who do you think Alan Rickman was in who was he portraying? I feel I know.
Partly Spock, I think. Partly Spock.
Oh, Renee, all the way. He was.
Renee.
Just like Renee.
Oh, right. The whole attitude of, are we done yet? Get me out of here. Yes. Very much Renee, too.
Oh, I thought it was Renee. And that was Renee after, 16 hours in makeup. But there was no one who could convey that as well as Renee. And freely to everybody.
Yeah.
My favorite science fiction films are 2001 Space Odyssey, Blade Runner, and then series-wise would be I like Twilight Zone. I got to stick with my Twilight Zone. I grew up on that.
You got good taste.
Right on.
Thank you.
I love The Matrix. That's my total favorite. And series, I don't know. Yeah.
Star Trek.
Well, yeah.
I still watch the original series just simply because of the unabashed approach. We, you, Spirit. It's so sassy.
There you have it. Alex, great question. Thank you. What's next? From Lisa, known as #1 Trek fan. She comes to about all of our virtual events here. What is on your bucket list that is still to do?
Wow.
There's a bunch.
I have two. One, I want to see the pyramids at Giza. Haven't done it yet. That's on my bucket list. And then the second place I want to go to is Jerusalem in Israel. So those are my two bucket lists.
What was the second one, Cirroc?
Jerusalem. I want to go to the Holy City. And
yeah, me too. I was almost there. I did go to Jerusalem. We were supposed to go to the pyramids, but something happened. I think something not great with some bus. Or something. So we didn't end up going. And Machu Picchu, I haven't been to. I really want it. For me, it is a traveling thing. I'm someone who really wants to see the whole world. And so that is, for other people, it's things, but it's traveling for me.
Right on.
There's some character actors that I would love to work with. And that's on my bucket list. And I was just watching a television show, and someone that I admire, and I can't remember his name, so don't even ask me. But I went, God, I'd love to work with him, and I'm not going to. And then I went, no, stop that. You haven't worked with him yet. So I'm considering that as a bucket list. That I look at someone, I go, I hope to cross paths in a scene with you.
Well, what happened to me? There was a character actor, and I did get a chance. Oh God, I get you. And it was less than. It was very wow, not very nice. Okay. It was sort of a disappointment. So
I think it's still. You're not going to say names.
Who was it?
Names or anything.
No.
That's not all that fun. Come on.
Yeah, I know it's not true. We've all done it. Oh God, I can't wait. Oh, and then you're all going to go. Yeah, you working with you.
In here again.
Oh, well.
I'd like to have a show of my own of some kind. Like I've always wanted a travel show where I interview people and travel around the world. And then I had my daughter, and then that didn't really happen. But I think that is still on my bucket list, like some kind of show like that.
Nice.
I'd like to go to space. That's my bucket list. I don't know if I'll ever get that, but I think that would be the thrill of a life.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Okay, Manon's gone, guys. Hello. We can't hear her.
Oh, what I said was you haven't been to Spain yet. Just
Yes.
Space.
Oh, space.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, Jeffrey.
No, I've been to Barcelona 3 times, in Madrid, so yeah, I gotta been to Spain. That place.
Yeah, I heard Spain too.
So did I.
Maybe I said Spain. And,
I was like, Spain, you can do it. It's possible.
You can do it. All right, well, there we have it. Lisa, great question as always. And let's go ahead and roll another one. And this comes from Sylvia. What did you enjoy about being on Star Trek?
That's easy. I'm still enjoying it. The community, the community of actors, of the crew, of the writers, who I got to know way better once we weren't on it, and the community that watches it, which is, and because I'm doing interviews, I've talked in depth to so many people, and they're so damn impressive as humans. So that's and it's ongoing. It doesn't stop. And with these things, the connection between the actors is ongoing. We get to go to Europe together, or Chicago, wherever, and it's lifetime friends and village.
Yeah, exactly. The same. And you get to meet really cool people. I mean, Star Trek, the writing, to be part of that is such an amazing honor and incredible. And then because you're the fans and the people you're meeting, and like they're just such interesting people, wonderful people. It's a great community. And it's still going on now and always. And so it's just the best.
I would say that, having started out in the theater, you really bond in the theater. You're a company, an ensemble with a singular purpose, and then you kind of come to TV and films. It's not quite there because it's there's no rehearsal time to get to know each other. Let's hit our marks. Let's do this. Go, 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 and it's over with. And yes, you've created some relationships, but in a very sort of faster way, not very deep. But Star Trek had a family vibe about it, a inclusiveness, a real echo to what wonderful theater experiences are, a company. And it was, for the most part, very unselfish, very supportive. And I'm not talking about just the actors. I'm talking about the incredible depth of the artistry of all of the support systems around us. You all know this: hair, makeup, sound, props, sets, catering. Even it was the way it should be. It was ideal, and I've done a lot of things since then, and I don't think anything's really come close to that. I don't.
Yeah.
And it's not like that on most shows. You're lucky if you get to be a part of this thing. And then some other shows, it's everybody's there doing their gig and they're out the door.
Right. So
yeah, that was one of the big things for me. It was the thing I enjoyed most is that I had an opportunity to do something meaningful and impactful in the world, something that people can relate to and draw whatever from, and that also the challenge for me, just as a human being who wants to be challenged and have, some kind of difficulty in problem solving and, can I do this, get the maximum out of myself? Those kinds of challenges were presented by working with such a high quality of, people and everybody being the best at what they do. So it meant that I had to up my game and be better at what I do. So the challenge of stepping my game up, the challenge of telling these meaningful stories and, and trying to deliver. So that was the biggest thing for me, is the whole experience of working with so many talented people and upping my game and having the opportunity to up my game because of it.
And to your absolute credit, you not only had a character arc, but you grew literally and figuratively in that show.
Yeah.
I mean, you were there at a really, really young age and everything else. And it was just like, we as viewers, we got to see your character grow up and you grow up at the same time. And I thought they really did a wonderful job of just a wonderful arc for your character. At the beginning, and I know you spoke about this show with Ira about, we could have him and he's going to join Starfleet and be like his dad. But again, the pivoting to, I think I'll do this. I think I want to be a writer. And
yeah, that's just one. That's part of the ensemble of greatness. The writers did that with all of our characters. They gave us depth. They gave us meaning. They gave us background. They made us complex. It wasn't just so cut and dry. Oh, he's a bad guy. He's a good guy. Or everybody had layers and context to who their character was, and that was the challenge. That is the challenge. Is to be able to find those subtleties and to be able to tell these kinds of stories. And for me, also. Having the role of a Black character on television that was not in the line of all of these stereotypical characters that we see when we have Black people on television. So that was another thing. It was like, wow, I get a chance to be an intelligent, articulate, well-rounded Black person in the future. That was like special too. For me, it was setting a precedence of a better future for us in general. That we can strive to look forward to. So that was another part of the challenge, was being a representative of this kind of ideals that we're trying to portray in the show.
That's lovely.
Absolutely. Sylvia, that was a great question. Thank you so much for that. What do we have next? From Rebecca. If you could send a message to your past self, what would it be?
Buy Apple stock.
Yeah.
Save all your money.
I don't know. Relax. Don't worry so much, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of that question all the time, actually, and it's the way I find into young people when they want advice from me. I think of what I would tell myself at that age, where I was at that age. And most of the time, for me, it's do not think that you can put work first, family first. Everything has to keep going. You'll just suffer, whatever it is. Grind on yourself to get things done, because it's not sustainable and it doesn't work. And you first have to turn inward and figure yourself out. And then you're of huge value to everyone around you. But it can't just be this, vessel that is empty, that keeps trying to empty itself. That's the biggest one for me.
Yeah. Excellent.
I think it's just mostly to trust in yourself, really, which is so easy to say, but so hard to do when you're younger. You have insecurities, and but sometimes people can grow up and they're still riddled with insecurities, and so it's not necessarily about getting older. It's sometimes you can just have that epiphany one day or go through something and it hits you and you're like, what am I doing caring about what other people think? Or it just hits you, like it just this epiphany, right? So it doesn't always, so that is something I would definitely say. I mean, I was pretty good about that, but could have done better with that for sure. I mean, and like to what you're saying, Nana, to try to do everything in life, it's there's no right or wrong. It's just to really be in the moment at any time and just really be there now and don't be thinking about the past or the future. Just be present when you can and just try to get that tingle up your body as much as possible that lets you know that you're on the right path. And don't worry about what other people think. Just stay true to yourself and just try to, and just don't overwhelm yourself.
You have to know what yourself is first.
Yeah.
You've got to figure that out to a certain degree, and that takes some self-reflection, I think. I know it did for me. Yeah. Also, have your own goals and dreams, and don't look
Yes.
to
Yes.
you.
Yeah, and that would be another thing I would say is I thought that the answers in life were somewhere out there, right? I had to, like, somewhere out there. Maybe it's at this club or this party or this friend or this person or that girl. Maybe that's the answer for me in my life. And the answer is inward. It's not outward. So if you spend that time, my advice would be spend time looking inward, spend time developing yourself. Don't search for any answers out externally. You can find them all inside if you just, take the time to reflect.
That's right. And you do whatever seed you plant does grow, and whatever work you put into something does come through. It really does. It's that simple,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Jeffrey, you stand on just relax, take it easy?
No, I was just thinking, listening to all of this, don't be in such a hurry. I think when I was younger, the mistake is thinking if I just rev faster and push, get there faster, and it really doesn't work that way. I don't think it is about taking care of yourself inside, and not be so concerned about exterior things to validate you.
Yeah.
For a long time, I didn't even come to LA. I waited a while because I just knew I wasn't, LA or New York, I just knew I wasn't ready. So I just stayed and worked on my craft in theater, and eventually it kind of came to me. But, I shudder to think if I had been in such a hurry that I jumped into my car and just drove to LA when I was a younger person and said, yeah, I think it would have been the worst thing I could have done. Just don't be in a hurry. It's going to come to you. And you just have to kind of accumulate some experience. That's the thing that really helped me, was having good experiences with theater before I ever jumped into the bigger lake of film and television, because you get so much rejection that if you have this backlog of, no, just because they said no doesn't mean I don't have value. It just means it's going to take a little time that I don't want it to take, but it does. So I don't know. I don't know what the alchemy of all of that is, except
value, like you say, value. You certainly don't want to run to LA and go to some place like that where it's making you feel like you have no value. So you find the value, like you say, by staying where you are, maybe, and being in theater, being with wonderful people, learning, growing yourself, learning who you are, realizing your value.
I was just happy doing theater and doing wonderful productions, and I was just lucky that a agent saw me and said, "What are you doing after this? LA or New York? I have an office both places." So it was like, well, here's the moment then. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And on my birthday, and it was on my birthday that happened.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Of course, 2 years later, that same agent dropped me. So,
it's stepping stones. You got to go through that to get to here, to get to there. It's always what it is. For myself, I tell my younger self, look, 3 things: floss, sunscreen, and sensible shoes.
Oh,
Okay.
very good.
One more question.
Rebecca, wonderful question. I think we got time for one more, so let's see if we go out on a really fun one. And here's one from Lasher. Jeffrey, in the spirit of things coming to you, can you give us a clue as to whom it was you were disappointed in working with? You can pass. Yeah, you can pass it.
We'll let that one go. I'll rise above, darling.
All right, okay. How about this? Haley wants to know, if your DS9 character started a band, what would the band's name be?
The Defiance.
Oh,
That's it.
There it is.
You need to look no further. That's it.
it's got to have pronouns, all sorts of pronouns, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who am I?
Misunderstood.
What?
The misunderstood Defiance.
Oh,
The misunderstood. No one ever understood me.
Well, there you have it.
Or how about Kira and the Resistance?
Yeah.
That's hot.
I'm liking that. Hey,
Actually,
so look at this.
You should do that.
You're in the Resistance.
Yes.
Yeah, let's take it on the road. Come on, Cirroc, let's go.
Guys, I'm loving that.
My girl.
Well, there you have it, Haley. Thank you. And friends, as always, been an absolute delight. Apologies again for the technical difficulties. Any final words for our audience before we take our leave?
I'm still stuck on the band. I want to be like very Miley Cyrus. Like, I don't know. I'm putting a lot of thought into it.
I'm leaving in a very calm manner, feeling very secure in Kira and the Resistance. That's the name. I'm looking for
really
dates
good.
around the world. Let's do it.
We need some merchandising to get printed up. We need some T-shirts.
It's a new name for the Rat Pack.
Friends, as always, it's been my absolute delight to serve you. Once again, thank you for joining us here on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us. And as always, thank you for your great questions. Hope to see everybody again soon. Until then, bye-bye, take care, and remember that smiles are free, friends, so spend them often.
Thank you, Patty.
Bye. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.